Yes. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. It is Monday. It is Fatherhood Unity Month, June 2nd, the second day. This is the day. This is the month that God said, let there be fathers, and there are fathers.
That's right.
And so I'm glad to be in the building. Dr. Het?
Oh, I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Brother Dave?
I'm with y'all when you're right. I'm glad to be here.
I know that's right. Better to be seen
Than to be
than to be viewed. I don't know where that's coming from. Right? And so today is a special day because we are going to enjoy this interview. This interview is going to be really special. It's important to me as they have all the time poured in. We've had breakfasts, we've had conversations, there's been support, and today we are going to talk family. She, in my opinion, is the queen when it comes to early childhood and family. And so I want to bring to the stage my friend, Cindy Eggelton.
Well, hello, friends. And I can tell already we're going to have a blast. Just to say it back, I love you.
I love you too.
I love all of you, and I'm
Blessings.
really feel special to be here.
Blessings. Thank
I'm glad
you.
that you are here. And, Cindy, it's really a great day to have this conversation. It's because it's important that we have these conversations, and just, a lot of people don't know some people know you, right? I know Cindy. Yeah, I know Cindy, but they don't know Cindy, right? And I think it's important that when it comes to family and family work and things like that, it's just important for us to highlight those to match the podcast. The podcast is called Put Your Family First, and you seem to have taken on this head on. I know I be everywhere, and so I want to make sure that this is your time. So please, Cindy, just tell everybody who you are, and just share a little something that they don't know.
Yeah, so thank you. And I think it's most important that people know what the work is before us all, right? So I am co-founder of an organization called Brilliant Detroit, which is now also Brilliant Cities.
Yes.
And we exist to create what we call kid success neighborhoods where kids and families have everything they need in the middle of the neighborhoods. We repurpose houses. And really, this is a model that is co-designed by families and community. And that's why it's worked. We've been around for 9 years now. And in those 9 years, we've grown to serve 26,000 people and be in 24 neighborhoods in the city in every single district. We have 42 cities on a waiting list and 12 countries. The coolest thing about all that is it's born in Detroit. That's the thing I'm most proud of. And I think the other piece here is with the purpose of this podcast is we believe that it's a whole family that makes a difference in a child's life. And that's how this work has been designed.
Yeah, give it up. Everybody stand up at the same time, right? All right, and it's important work, as you said, and What? How did we get here, Cindy? How did Brilliant Detroit arrive? What's the small story? I won't say small, but what's the little story behind Brilliant Detroit?
Yeah, I'll tell you how we got here and also why we're here right now, I think, and why it's important at this point in time. Look, there's two things, there's a few things. One is statistics in the city can tell you a little bit of why we got here. Less than 14% of kids read at grade level by third grade. We need to do something about that. Calvin, you and Heather have been out there for a long time on issues that people need to pay attention to and get to. I think the other thing is, previously I was on the funder side, and I saw a lot of what worked and what didn't work. The last thing here is I'm a first-generation high school graduate whose family grew up in poverty. And I know firsthand that you don't just throw programs at people. You need to build relationships, and that it takes a lot to break the cycle of poverty and to actually build from a family and what you need. And we've seen that every day with really the true heroes are the people in the work. I've never met anybody that didn't want what was best for their kids and families. And I think sometimes what is given to them or around for them does not take that into account. And so that's how we got here. We had this sort of radically new idea to do it in community, to have community co-create and be part of it. And from day one, we've had a waiting list because that's the formula. And we've seen 3 reading levels grow, significant improvement in education, health, and family support. And really, the neighborhoods and the families are owning their own change. That's what matters. We don't go anywhere unless we're invited in and unless the neighborhood can be a clear partner. So how we got here is years and years of disinvestment, years and years of not putting people in their own center, but actually trying to do things to people instead of with, for, and by. And I think what our model has shown, but our model is done with all kinds of partners, we have 200 partners in this work, is that when family is first, when family is at the center, really great things happen.
Right. Really great things do happen. You said that 3, right? So, we're in the middle of this Reading is Life campaign, really, striving to really make a significant dent when it comes to boys, because we understand that remains an underserved population, in my opinion. But the next question is, but why Cindy? Why was it Cindy that, right? Because you've come this far, and you've done this thing, and you shared about your family. But what about Cindy and her family? Who are you? How many kids you got?
Doing this? First off, I'm not doing a very good job if it's just me.
Right.
This is
Exactly.
about bringing many along.
Right.
I think the thing that I found was I had certain skills that could be used. We just hired a new executive director for Detroit. And this is something that is built with others, for others. I think I'm an activator, and I am impatient. And so I think those are the couple of skills that I've brought along here. I also think I learned that the most important thing is not what you know, it's what you hear. And being able to listen and apply is what has made a difference. And so I think that's what I can bring. But I consider all of this work is sort of a tapestry that we each pull a thread through. And my work, my personal work, is to be a thread and help pull those threads through. And if I'm not doing that, I'm not doing a good job. Because I can tell you, and we're launching something which is called Brilliant People, that I serve alongside so many people. Calvin, you're one of them. that are doing amazing work and have been doing it for years. And we need to elevate all of those people and do more of it. It's a tough environment, right? Especially now. And I think that's the piece I wanted to say for a minute is I can tell you why this started, but why now? Why is this important? And I think we have an incredibly disconnected world. And what we have found is connection. One of the number one things we just saw in an evaluation is that people coming through these hubs feel more connected. They feel they belong. And we have a world that doesn't feel like that. And I have to tell you that when people do feel that way, they are motivated to do more and to do things that make a difference. And that's really why I think I'm in this world, is to help be a conduit. But look, I'm old and I'm going to step out of the world a little bit soon. And so the whole idea is to spread and share what others are doing, because together that's what will make a difference. I see it every day.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Dave.
No, I was just saying, it's just interesting how you said to be a difference, and that's what this is about, being a difference that makes a difference in people's lives. Because so many people around just don't feel value. And when we can bring value to people and let them know that they are cared for, then the information we give them becomes more valuable to itself. But if we just shooting information out to them, then it doesn't connect. And I just wrote that in an article about the connection of our society. This is what makes the glue seals the thing called love.
Dave, I would love to see that article, because I've been saying this a long time, and early on, we have a phrase at Brilliant, which is love, safety, and growth. Unless people feel loved on and feel safe, they don't grow. Right. We just throw things at people. We tell them early on, somebody said to me, what do I need? I need this, I need that, I need something else. But I've worked full time and I don't have a car. And you people think just something 5 miles here, 4 miles there, and you're not all in. And that's the difference of even delivering things in a disconnected way. I personally feel everybody has value. I'm that half full glass type of a person, but I see it every day, and I think as much as we're looking to change statistics, and we are, unless you see people, you meet them, and you hear them, and activate what they say, not what you think, it's not going to work.
Wow. Miss Heather?
Well, I'm thankful for you, Cindy. I am, I'm thrilled to have the opportunity to just speak with you, because what you bring is such wisdom and such a voice that can elevate and reach people where they are. I love that about you. But my question goes a little bit behind the woman that we see on the screen. I just think it's important that when we look at our story, our backstory, and when we think about the lessons and some of the important lessons that happen kind of at your crossroads. And you mentioned that you were on the funding side before. To me, that's a crossroad between, the work on this level and the work on the other level. What took you on the other side of that equation?
Yeah, I definitely was on the funding side, and despite my background, which I said I'm, first generation high school graduate, etc., I was able to have a lot of jobs that were pretty good, right? I actually, when we started Brilliant Detroit, I took a 75% pay cut. So what was my crossroads? It was the kid in me that grew up knowing that we all should be put in the world to make it a little better. And for me, it was making it a little better than what my family had too. And I was driven. And I think being on the funder side, look at it, felt great to have funding to give away, etc. But I didn't feel we were getting deep enough or wide enough or listening to people. And I really had this desire to want to try something a little bit different based on what people were telling me and what I saw. And I did come to a crossroads at one particular time where I was actually in a meeting and I was listening to people and what they needed and then what organizations and what things were being done. And I just felt like it wasn't all connected. It didn't all come together. And I feel really impatient. I'm old. Look at, I'm old. And I'm
Season.
tired of us saying, I'm tired of us saying, well, we'll get there, we can't do enough, or it's good enough, right? It isn't. And so again, I have not done this by myself. There have been many, and in particular community, that said this is what we need, and we just tried to help activate that and move it, and it's mattered. And that's the thing I'm most proud of. But Heather, it's also you and Kelvin and what you do. And how do we do that? It's hard to be in this work. You can have funding bumps, you can have bumps all the way along the road, and it's hard to stay in it. So I think when you have to be pretty determined. My mom just passed away, and she was such a determined person. We called it stubborn. And I think I got that from her, is that determination, because you have those moments where you want to give it all up. And the world is calling you not to do that. But it's hard sometimes, right? So I think that's my backstory, is probably stubbornness, determination, however you want to call it. But also, I don't want to just spin on a hamster wheel and do something that's good enough. I think we want to really see change, and that change comes from people.
And speaking of that, I just want to add an additional question on that. How, because our story is around mentoring, how have mentors affected you? Like, looking back into your childhood, your journey, where have mentors strategically impacted like your next steps or your outlook on what's next for you or for your family?
Yeah, thanks for that question, because I've given a lot of thought to this. I was just in something that was like all about mentorship. I think there's two sides of this equation that I would say. And one is, how has it impacted me or others? But the other part of it is what are you going to do? What's your role in helping others? And I want to first say, again, I'm you guys' biggest fan. So how you do things and what you do from being mentored, somebody seeing you, makes all the difference. And I'm gonna share a quick story that happened for me when I actually helped somebody, and then I'll talk about what's happened in my life with mentors. And what happened for me once is I had a staff person, and she had a couple of things going on. She was anorexic, she was bipolar, she was also the best writer and editor I ever worked with. And a year into this relationship, she gave me this very tiny box. And I said, oh my God, it's so beautiful. Thank you. And she said, no, the message is inside. And inside was a tiny little note that says, thank you for seeing me. That taught me more than you can imagine. That is what a mentor does. They see other people. I learned big time that day. I was showing up right in that way, but we don't always. We're busy, we've got things going on, we think we're important. And I've really spent my life thinking about that and doing that without questions asked. And multiple times, I've heard that same thing. I didn't know I mattered. Nobody saw me. They didn't know me. They judged me or labeled me. So I just want to say that about mentoring. For my own life, probably my best mentor was my mom. She really had a background that was, not great. She was in foster care till she was 12, all kinds of different things. But she taught me the value of family, determination, and not thinking you're too big for your britches, as she would say it. And that really, really, really helped me. And then along the way, I've met many people, some of which may realize were my mentors, and some of which didn't. And sometimes I learned from others what not to do and what not to be, because how I might have felt when talking to them. So actually what I say to people is the number one thing anybody can have is a mentor. And I define that first by somebody seeing you and also really being genuine, not just all great things, but straight up that you know that what they're giving you is coming from their heart and they're not sugarcoating either. They're really being real with you. You guys know, because you see it every day, how many people you impact. And I'm going to say something that happened to me in work I was doing with, which was in high school turnaround. I did focus groups with a few groups of kids. Some of the kids were coming to school every day, some of the kids were not. The one difference between those two groups, seriously, and we always say it's this, it's that, it's the other thing, there was one difference. The group of kids that were not coming to school every day could not name one or two people they felt cared about them. That was so profound to me. I did focus groups with over 100 kids in each section. And you guys see that every single day. So what I say is, in life, you have to show up. You have to be present. And the gift of that is immeasurable. It's just immeasurable. It may sound simple, but we know that from a lot of damage in our life, right? So sometimes when somebody sees you and they're not seeing you as the damage, but just as you, it just is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that is it. Thank you. That's everything, right? When you can be seen. It's a gift for some, for that I kind of. So at the table, Dave is 37 years in the military, has mentored thousands. Heather's 30-some years, thousands, right? Me, I'm in my 40th year. I think me and Dave, right, neck and neck. 40 years of being involved in mentoring, making a difference, and listening to you about being seen is such a key piece to why showing up is so important as a mentor. How we show up is really important, right? If I showed up in my mess, it's difficult for a child to learn from that mess, and how much respect will they have for that mess. But if I show up in my authentic behavior and care, I can get the child to see that actual care. I remember I was over at Henry Ford High School as a teacher. I was brought in, I forget her name, Carolyn, I forget her last name. She asked me to come in and speak to this classroom. They were having problems the whole night. So I come in and speak. And within 10 minutes of conversation, 10 led to the entire class. There's conversation flowing throughout this classroom. And as I was getting ready to leave, he leaned to me and he said, "Man, how did you do that?" He said, "I've been teaching for 20 years and can't get that kind of conversation out of the kids." And I said, if you can get it out your own child, you can get it out of these kids. The issue is that some of us mentors don't understand why character is such an important piece. You understand that. You are now taking this thing national. I tell you all the time, that's a dream of mine for Emmy 15. But I know, the type of work and that it takes, but that's a dream of mine, ours, this vision, to be in 10 other cities, that whole dynamic, because I know there's an undercurrent that is not protecting women, girls, mothers, and it's usually males. And if we don't pour into and get the males like we're going to do, as a matter of fact, Cindy, if you can hold on, we're going to commercial. And we'll tap back in.
Are you an indie podcast or content creator looking to reach a wider audience? Look no further. Introducing Podcastic, the ultimate podcast network designed exclusively for indie creators like you. At Podcastic, we believe in the power of unique voices and fresh perspectives. We're here to amplify your passion and creativity, connecting you with the growing community of engaged listeners who crave original content. Podcastic is more than just a platform. It's a support system built for indie podcasters, offering a range of resources to help you succeed. From tailored promotional campaigns to professional production assistance, we're here to help you shine. Our intuitive platform makes it easy for you to be seen and heard. We do all the heavy lifting for you. You just show up and create. Plus, with our advanced analytics, you'll gain valuable insights into your audience's preferences, allowing you to refine your content and grow your fan base. Ignite your passion, expand your reach, and thrive with podcasting. Visit our website at www.podcasticlife.com to get started. Podcasting, the home for indie podcasts and content creators.
Awesome.
Can I just say something?
This is the part of the segment where there are some things that we get into for you. So one of the things that we ask is, Cindy, what is it that you do for fun outside of the work? What is it that you do for fun?
So, look, I come on this podcast. Also, let me just say, the thing I wanted to say to you too is the point you made about how we show up. That was your wisdom, and I always learn from you every time I'm with you, and I love that statement.
Thank
I just wrote that down. I think it's really, really important.
Thank you.
What do I do for fun? I kind of suck at that work-life balance. I just want to be straight about it and not pretend that I'm good at it. But I think for me, actually, fun is getting good things done. But I also do things like walking, gardening, hanging out with my family, my son. I have a son. And for me, I enjoy my work. I enjoy being in community. So that, to me, is fun. And I think for people outside of myself, is what I would say to you is choose things you do that you have fun. Everything you do. And then you're not as stressed out and worried about what you are going to do for fun.
Okay, that's awesome, right? Right? That's good. So, but like when you say gardening, do you have to explain gardening? Like, we know that you're not just.
So we have 24 locations. I want to tell you that, and I still help lay out the garden.
That's what I was talking about.
Everybody has. Okay. So I'm half Native American. It's in my blood, right? So I have to have my fingers in the dirt. Less now than I used to, but in my garden, I have plants from my childhood. And 5 of our hubs, I put plants from my childhood. So for me, gardening is being part of the earth and actually tending and caring and growing things. It's also the fruits and vegetables. I'm not as good at that. But we also have gardens at every one of our locations. So I'm going to explain this to you, Kelvin. And I have seen some of the most incredible things happen through those gardens because it's a place that everybody can come together to just grow something. And it's remarkable for kids and families. Our first garden we put in, the person I'm still connected to, and my friend, and we're actually having lunch next week. And she kind of told us we had terrible tools. And so she wanted to take the kids to the farmer's market. We thought maybe she wanted to make money off the garden. No, she wanted to make money for new tools and to show the kids commerce. You can do everything out of a garden if you know it. So maybe Kelvin, I have to come over and show you and Heather how to do a little gardening out there, some plants from my garden.
You know, that's funny because somebody's in the backyard currently working on a garden.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, Heather's in the backyard working on a garden.
Heather, if you need any help, I'm there for you. And if you want to come over to my house, we'll split plants. There's something about community. I have this idea too in community that somebody else gave me. It's not mine. It's a local artist in Detroit. And her thing that she did in her neighborhood that I'd love to do in others is everybody builds their garden and then they bring pieces of their garden to each other's garden, and you grow a community and it has significance. And if you love the garden, which Heather, maybe you do love, or maybe you're learning how to love, there is something about it that of growing it and continuing on that is special. It could just be my heritage too. I don't know. I love the garden.
I do too. I do. I love just about anywhere that I've lived, there has been a garden, a neighbor that had a garden, and they were always open to sharing. And that's how I grew up. So in my neighborhood, we had a neighbor with a pear tree. We had a neighbor that did tomatoes. Like, he was the number one person for tomatoes. And it inspired my sister, who was actually the one that started gardening at our house. And she did that for a number of years. And it was amazing to me to watch it grow, and to see that this was something that she did and that we got to benefit from. Like, she would grow cantaloupe every year. And that was just such a big deal to see a cantaloupe grow out of the ground. It was amazing. But this is cool. I have two questions for you. One, favorite book and favorite meal or recipe. You can do a meal or recipe.
Okay, I could do the meal first. I used to be a big reader. So I think maybe I do have a favorite book, but there's a couple books. Favorite recipe is chicken parmesan. Whenever I lose weight and I'm not worried about gaining it, I go. I don't know what it is. I love it. So that's my favorite meal. My favorite book is probably Having Nothing, Possessing Everything. And this was something that was given to me by somebody I did not know. I'm going to tell you this story. It's just a funny story. Somebody Facebooked me on Messenger and said, "Did you have something to do with this book? Because it's about the work you're doing." And I said, "I don't even know the book." And it had a foreword by somebody I respected, Greg Boyle, who's doing work in LA, which I appreciated. And I got this book. I now meet this individual who's a pastor probably twice a year, and we talk. And it really is about how community comes together, and that when we approach things from the lens of community and people's gifts, not an organization, not a this or that gifts, but people's gifts, it really creates something special. And so I think that's my favorite book because it really resonated with me. And I share it with just about everybody. Have I shared it with you yet? Have I given it to you? Because I give it away all the time.
No, I haven't had the privilege of that one yet.
Don't take offense.
I'm not taking no offense with you. You already know.
I have like several copies in my office, and I just give it away because that's how I think the world should be. Mm-hmm. We all have gifts that we bring to the world. We all have those unique things. And if we really looked at people from a gift and what they have and what they can contribute, it's a better world.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah, that's what made me write these children's books. And that's why my children's books, and even right now I'm screaming from the top of the roof, diversity. That's why my children's books, those things, right, literacy, these things that impact, because no way should we go backwards in the world that's moving forward. And it's such an important piece that what you just said is such an important piece, because if we don't, I think a lot of times we forget that community means community, right? And the thing that you said that was powerful is how what she said about the gardening, it's people moving toward each other, not away. Your community, your work is bringing people toward each other, not away, right? The fight, should I say, the work going forward will be about repairing diversity because diversity is how everything was built. It's not one thing. It's all things. This is where God is present when it's all things, right? And so that work that you just described about the gardening is the same thing that we do even in our mentoring. We bring them toward each other because it's in coming to unity is where the connection builds everything for family. When we do everything in individualism, we see the impact of those things and what it does to the community. Like you said, you didn't want to be the mouse on the wheel. And you have not been since the conversations, the breakfast, right? The purchasing of my first children's book, the different conversations, the support, the times I quit, right, in your phone. I can't tell you how many times I did that, right? But it's been, following you, watching you has helped me continue to push forward. There are a number of people that I can, really thank in that when times get tough for us and for me. There are a number of people I can thank, but your example is one of those moments for me to say thank you.
Well, that is so, it makes me want to cry, but honestly, all of you on this call, it's all of us. We push each other, we're there for each other, we lift each other, and it's not one of us, and we have to be real. There are times that it's really hard, and it matters. And I would also say I commend you for those books and also what you see. You see and you do. And it's really important. And I also love what you're saying on diversity and healing. I also think it's recognition of the beauty in diversity. And there are times I have to go deep in my spirit right now in this world. Let's face it, it's just hard to take. There's a line from a poem that I say to myself every morning right now. And I think we probably all say something like this, which is, there is no path. You make the path by walking. So every day I get up and decide to walk because you can't see. Sometimes it feels like, oh my God, there's no way out of this. There's no way to give a voice to kids or families. There's no way. But I think that's in my head a lot right now. And I know for each of you, you have your own words to help encourage you and to stay on that making the path, because unless we do that, and it's a long game, this is not a short game, those paths aren't going to be there, and we need to do that. People deserve it, the world deserves it, and some of the sort of destructive elements that are out there right now probably took a while also to get fully in place. And so I'm even more motivated in the world today to do what each of us are doing. It's all of us, and try to unite and lift us all up, because it's genuine and it matters.
Yeah, you said it. So you said it. Heather?
I have some more really good questions. So how about a favorite song? What sets your soul on fire and makes you want to dance? Do you have a particular song?
Oh, actually, there's a YouTube video of me with my favorite song. So which song is it going to be today? Actually, my very favorite song is Amazing Grace. That is my favorite song.
Does it make you want to?
You can go find the YouTube and see some of the other silly songs.
You know, sometimes.
Sing though, Heather, very well. Singing in it, so you might
Okay, that makes it worth seeing now. I like to hear that. You know, I think about when I reach my point of either I want to give up, I want to get angry, I put on Jamaica funk.
Oh, I love that. I would be there with you.
And you know, when the horns blow, it what it does for me is it draws all of my experience from growing up in my neighborhood, from the block club parties to the fire hydrants for the, you know, the barbecues and all of the things for me that was a part of who I have become and grown to be. For me, it reminds me of the summers of community, and it breaks whatever yoke I am experiencing. And I'm telling you, I lose total cool points when it comes on. And just the thought of, and it doesn't matter where I am, it just like, you know, I could be sitting there dignified and, you know, focused on whatever, and that song comes on and it's like, oh! but I realize how much I need that reminder, because sometimes it feels like things can be so thick and you can either buy into it, and I find that finding that place, and I will dance until I'm exhausted. I have danced until I was exhausted, and I played it over and over again till my son was like, "Ma, are you done?" But until I break whatever that is that's holding me or forcing me into a corner, until I break that, I will dance until I sweat.
I love that. I love that. And my mom used to close our curtains. We didn't have a very big house, and make us dance in those points. So I need to go back to that also.
It's such a help because you need.
With my son, and he
yeah,
having it.
Right. I don't know what that is about sons watching their moms.
They don't want to dance with their mama. It's that simple. It ain't hard.
You took me back to that, but I didn't. Where are our rhythms? We're so many things.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And where is that spirit and carrying that and doing that and not losing sight of it?
That's right. We have to have something to help be as sharp as the situation that you're facing, and do so with joy. That's why I was asking about, like, what are those things that set your soul on fire? You know, that it's, you know, it could be art. Stevie Wonder can do that easily too.
Yes, Stevie Wonder can, and I love art.
Yes.
I will tell you, the word I was thinking about when you first talked is joy. And I do think we forget that we need joy in our lives. We actually did this project with families called the Joy Box. We did it with somebody else, and I'm telling you, it was probably one of the most impactful things we did, because it was actually creating stories and things that you could have that were just about joy, and also remembering parts of your own life and your own culture. It was heavily rooted for your own culture, and I think we do have to all find that joy and figure it out and not be as serious all the time. I am so blessed, though, I just want to say, because I have a life right now that I love, and I work really hard. I get to talk to people like you every day. I get to be in community with amazing families and kids, etc. And that actually is what gives me joy. It truly is. And I try to remember it all the time and get out of my own self, right? This is what matters.
Yes.
So, but I'm gonna do that dancing thing again.
That's awesome. Thank you.
So Cindy, this is the point of the interview where we ask you if there's any advice you would like to give to the world. What would be that one piece of advice that you would give to the world right now?
Okay, so you gave me all these profound questions with no thinking time. Thank you for that, and I love you.
You're welcome.
You know, I, I actually give this advice to a lot of people, and it is to find what actually moves you and do it, period, unabashedly. I think there's a few things that I tell people that I've learned along the way, which is always be present. When you're with somebody, be present. You will get so much out of it. Listen. Shut up sometimes and listen. You will gain so much. And the last thing is do. Just do. Don't think about it too much. Don't go over a million things. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just do. And if you live that formula, you will have a better life, and so will those around you.
Awesome. And here's the last thing. And
it's another big question.
No, it's not a big question. It's just a request, right? All we ask is that you say your name and encourage me, I'm young, at the end of your name.
Oh, I love that. Okay. Before I do that, I really want to commend all of you. It's an honor to be on this with you. This gives me joy. So, Cindy Eggelton, encourage me. I'm young.
Cindy, thank you. We know you have so much more to do in your day. We truly appreciate you coming on and sharing. This is such an important interview for us, right? Because a lot of people don't know, although all the success you have, there are a lot of people that don't know the work that is being done. A lot of times we really ride out the negative and we miss what's right happening up under our nose because we have an expectation and you have results. And so I truly appreciate your time today. Looking forward to another breakfast soon. I'm going to jump on that schedule sometime after June, because God knows I'm June. Before you go, we have a Fatherhood Awards brunch. So if you know some fathers, you'd like to send some of your fathers to this awards brunch, we pour into dads. It's very powerful. The microphone is passed to each table, and they're able to pour into the fatherware at the table. There will be some surprises this year. Some people have gotten a table, and they're going to surprise the men in their life, and they have no clue that it's getting ready to happen. So Heather and Crystal and myself, we give out awards. This year, there's a Calvin T. Mann Fatherhood Award, and Heather has an award in her dad's name, and Crystal has an award in her dad's name, and they selected these men to award them. And
that's
so
beautiful.
Thank you. And so just wanted to make sure we put that in your lap. And so, Cindy, we truly appreciate your time. I love you, and keep going.
I love you back. And I'm going to model something here. I'm buying 10 people tickets to go, and I'm going to get the names to you. So send that to me so I can do that.
You got it.
Know that I love you, and you are loved. And from my spirit, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
That's bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Enjoy.
So I know some good people that do some good things, right? And I personally think that a lot of times the people don't know, because we have the wrong perspective, I think, when it comes to work. How do we value people, which Dave talked about. And she'll be able to see Dave's article in the Our Fathers magazine. Right? And I'm gonna make sure she gets it. But the process that we're looking at for this world that some of us are in, and that's participating, it is work, and it's tough. You know, I have some very tough days. And I can tell you, Dave, I'm talking about, she has gotten a text message like, And Heather ain't even seen these text messages. And she's gotten text messages, right? Because when I started sitting with Cindy, you know, she always was pouring into me. She was just always saying the right things, you know, making sure you got to hang in there, right? And has been very supportive, right? Of course, she was the guest on the Pancake Breakfast. She was the guest speaker. She did the same thing at the Pancake Breakfast, right? So being consistent is something also that we've been able to grasp from her. Anyway, Heather, is there anything you'd like to say? If so, say it. Make sure you close it out with your...
Well, you know, I'm grateful to be in the room with people of impact. And I'm glad that Cindy was a part of this room today as a person of impact, not just influence, but impact. You know, recognizing that, you know, in some spaces we're a model. In some spaces we are the learners. You know, we are the ones that are being educated. And being able to stay open to both, I think, is really powerful and a sign of a person's wisdom and growth. So I'm happy to be in the room with people who have whys and are wise. And you can reach me at www.yourinspiredjourney.com. And you can also reach me by phone, which I prefer, at 313-759-7855. Everybody but robocalls.
Brother Dave?
Yeah, I think the show really brought about confirmation. That's what I always look for. What confirms your thoughts every day? And when I heard Cindy, you, Cal, Heather, talk about community, remind me in the military we used to say, community build, isolation kills. And when you talked about the garden, I thought about when we was in Iraq, we helped the Iraqis, the ones that were not their surgeons, build a garden. That's kind of funny and it's late full of saying, right? But the concept was that we teach them how to plant a seed. If you plant a seed, the seed don't necessarily show its harvest right away. But we cultivate it, we nourish it, we continue to be attentive to it, we show up. And then one day over the course of time, then you begin to see the harvest. And as we talked about, the other part that she brought up was about staying in it. The race is not given to the swift or the strong, but him that endure to the end. You just got to stay in the race. And we, as individuals, are the people on the sideline giving the bottle of water, giving the towel, giving the go, go, go. That keeps you moving when your legs are giving out, your mind is wandering, you're just exhausted, you're in a lot of pain in life. But as long as you have those people that's constantly encouraging you, you can stay in that race and get over the finish line. You can reach me at drome7@yahoo.com, or you can reach me on Facebook at FMAM, For Men About Men, and soon I'll be giving another number, so just stay tuned.
So, thank you. So, today, show you how this all lines up this morning. Proverbs 13:17 says, "A wicked messenger falls into trouble, but a trustworthy messenger brings healing." Right? That, you have to have reliable people and messengers. You have to be careful about those who stand before you and pontificate if it's legit or foolishness. The other thing is, on the keychain that I'm looking at, it says, "May you be proud." My wife gave this to me. May you be proud of the work you do, the person you are, and the difference you make.
Right. That's just beautiful.
That's beautiful.
You gotta love a woman like that.
I think you do.
She's better than a peanut butter and jelly sandwich.
All right. I think you do.
She make it stick.
All right. And so, to really put it in perspective, there was a time when I sent Cindy a message, and she knew it was one of those calls, and she made me come see her. We don't understand how important quality people are in our lives. Mm-hmm. And we have to. We have to begin to spout the things that we want to see. And we have to begin to organize our thoughts in a way that it brings love and nurturing and understanding to our spirit. I'll leave it at that. You have been watching Put Your Family First podcast. You can reach me at calvintman.com for booking and speaking, or Emmy Apparel. Get ready for Emmy Apparel. And God bless you and encourage me. I'm young.
Peace.
Family, you know, it's all about